Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
Anybody new to the channel? I'm Papergoy, and I've got about 40,000 items online, have a day job, and try to juggle all that. And you are?
I'm Mr. Magazine with a big warehouse, 15 employees, and 500,000 items online.
So I want to ask you a question, what we're going into today. I had a eBay store, and I was probably down around I know what I was at. I was at 14,775 items a couple of years ago.
All right.
Right now, I'm at 16,500 items on her. So I've listed almost 2,000 items. Well, I've listed more than that, obviously, because I've sold things.
Sure.
But I've increased by about 2,000 items. And I know that we were talking before the show that there are a few people that are on your radar that you watch as well.
Right.
And you were mentioning that they're also growing. So
Sure.
have you noticed a trend in that?
Yeah, absolutely. My original reasoning was thinking that, during the whole COVID thing and all these small business were getting loans, I think that's probably how some of these owners got money to buy big inventory. I think that's what helped them grow into this point.
So they got some capital to...
Right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, I was helped out a little bit as well. I had a small payroll, so you got so much funding per person. And I think there was even single-person business owners that had, up to 20,000 or something like that. So I think a lot of them took advantage of that if they could do.
So the people had the capital to spend on stuff.
Right.
Another thing that definitely happened was when eBay moved people into managed payments and lowered the costs.
Right.
I know that was a huge thing to me, for me, because back when it was a nickel per item above 10,000 items, sometimes you're looking at something or other and it kind of takes away the long tail appeal to some extent.
Right.
Because if you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, I'm going to be spending 60 cents a year, and it's going to take 5 years, gee, that's $3 I've invested in it.
Right.
Is it worth listing this, or should I find something that I think I can flip sooner?
Sure.
Where now you've got that ability. And I think a third part of that is, as you were mentioning, a lot of people were sitting home, or you didn't mention it, but a lot of people were sitting home.
Yeah.
I know I didn't go anywhere. Usually, I go a few days here, a few days there, long weekends.
Right.
Well, I didn't do that. And if you add in an extra week and a half worth of listing for me,
Yeah.
Even if I'm listing 20, 25 items a day on that period, suddenly you're up at a few hundred extra items listed at that point as well.
Yeah.
Any other reasons you can think of?
Well, if you think about too, even during COVID and now, people that have collectibles, they do one of two things. They're either buying them, which is good for us, or they're selling them to us, which is good for us. So, it's a double positive for me, and that's definitely helped me grow, and I think a lot of these other companies as well.
Well, and I think another part of it too, when you get right down to it, is a lot of this game, and I'm going to call it a game, the game of listing and selling on eBay and Amazon. A lot of the game is mental.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got out of college, a friend of mine got a job selling life insurance, and he was terrible at it. And the reason why is it's basically a self-fulfilling prophecy. You wake up, you say, geez, I'm not going to make any sales today anyway.
Right.
And you kind of, you should be making 3 or 4 calls. You make 1 call just kind of to do it. You didn't make a sale on it. The next day you say, I'm not even going to call anybody. I'm not going to make any sales.
Right.
The opposite of that is true as well. Sure. If my friend had done it and went out and made 3 calls and made 3 sales, guess what he's doing the next day? He's going out and calling 4 or 5 people because he's got the confidence.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's going on a lot too on the eBay. A lot of people's sales in general from 2020, 21 versus 2018-19 are higher.
Well, yeah, and even these, and I know some of these dealers that are, I call them low ballers, but with that money, you're helping them grow, and sales are growing, and increased capital, so they can start buying more stuff and paying more too. So maybe in the old days they were paying 25-30% on stuff. Maybe they're paying 40 and 50%. So they have more options to buy larger volume as well.
Oh, and that's definitely true. I've been keeping track since 2019. A little more keeping track on what I'm paying, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And I think back then, leave out a few outliers, I probably was paying about $1 to $1.25 an item. Now I'm up to over $2 an item, which when you go across the amount of items that I buy in a year, that's quite an increase, really. Basically, I've doubled the amount that I'm willing to pay on stuff.
Right.
And of course, what happens? I'm listing things for higher prices. They're selling, gets more money coming in, makes me more likely to buy the next buy.
Yeah.
And I'll give a perfect example. And if you've watched our live show, you'll have heard this story already. But I went to an estate sale recently, and when I was there picking out, hardcovers. Larger hardcovers were $6. In the old days, I never would have bought any of those. I would have said $6 for
right by him.
Yeah, I would have $6 for a hardcover. That's insane.
Yeah.
$3 just for a smaller hardcover, et cetera, et cetera. I would have been penny pinching. Maybe I would have bought one item.
Right.
And I'm there and I'm picking out, going, okay, I know I can sell this one. I know I can sell this one. I know I can sell this one.
Yeah.
And having a little bit of money in the pocket just because of the increased sales allows me to do that.
Right.
Now, obviously, you've got quite a few items on eBay and Amazon, as do I. When did you realize, or I guess, did a light go on? What exactly happened that you realized that you had to get big, or did it just kind of happen?
Well, what happened was we had that original haul in Canada, close to 10 years ago. There's 100,000 items, and you buy another big haul, and say it's all magazines. Well, you start getting duplicates. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do with 3 of these? I can only sell 1 slowly. 2 is going to take forever. So then I start branching out. Then we had from eBay to Amazon. Then then the website. So now, before I would never want to buy anything more than 1. Now I'm buying 2, 3, 4, and I'm fine with quantity because we have other platforms for it. So I think that helped as well.
Well, and I think you stumbled into volume selling, whereas I think a lot of these people now aren't stumbling into it. I think they have a plan, and that's nothing against you whatsoever. Yeah. I think your situation was, and I'm making the numbers up completely, but if you're buying 1,000 items a week, you're listing 500 items a week, and you're selling 300 items a week.
Right, true.
Every week you have 200 more items, and then all of a sudden you need to expand the warehouse. You need to expand this. You need to expand this, and you're falling further and further behind. So then you hire another person to list because you're saying, hey, wait a minute. Every week, I've got 500 more items that are unlisted.
Yeah.
The end of the year, I've got 26,000 items that didn't get listed I bought last year. I have to find somebody to help alleviate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just the way that eBay works, now instead of listing 500 every week, now you got an extra person working. Right. Now you're listing 750 items every week.
Yeah.
However, your sales, instead of going from 300 up to 550, go from 300 up to 400, just because.
Yeah.
And so now you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more items just kind of accidentally, just because that's the way the numbers work.
Sure.
Whereas now I think people are sitting back and planning it out a little more. And I also kind of stumbled into it as well. I remember specifically at one point I was at, 10,000 was the number that I wanted to get.
Right.
And I got it. And then I was like, well, and here's the problem. You get to 10,000 items. What's your next milestone? 11,000? I mean, it's not going to be your milestone.
It's going to be 20, but that's going to be
20 or 25,000.
Right,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think 25,000, and of course, I'm not anywhere near there. It's been years. I've been over 10,000 for years and years and years, and I'm finally up to 16,000. But I've kind of changed now from trying to be a super volume seller into moving up the chain a little bit as well, which is another choice.
Quality, right? You're taking quality over quantity. Yeah.
But there's. I think a lot of people are noticing that the way to do it is with volume. Can you touch on some of the advantages of the volume?
Well, for one thing, for me, like at first I was buying from Rochester. Mm-hmm. Then the Canada deal found me. Then I found a couple guys in Ohio, and then they knew other guys. So, over the course of 5 or 10 years, now I'm buying all over the country on a monthly basis, really. I got people coming to me every month. One guy's in Ohio, one guy's in New Jersey, and it's almost weekly if I really wanted to buy everything. And I send you a lot of the emails of people selling stuff. It's on a daily, weekly basis from all over the country. So I think that's definitely a big part of it now.
Well, and I think, how about on the selling side?
For selling, well, again, the platforms help me, but I'm able to put certain things on eBay that works out better on eBay. Certain things on Amazon are better for Amazon.
All right, because you're going somewhere I wasn't expecting you to go, which is a positive thing. I guess what you're saying, and I've noticed it as well on a smaller scale because I've started to sell a little bit on Etsy.
Yeah.
There are some things that sell better on a given platform.
Right.
That in the past either I wouldn't have bought, or I would have bought and I would have listed it on eBay and it would sit there forever.
Right.
Or I would have bought it as part of a deal and it would have sat in a corner.
Sure.
And it would probably still sitting in the corner.
Right.
So every venue that you open up to and you learn the pluses and minuses of that venue, different things sell better on different areas.
Oh, yeah.
And, you've opened yourself up to, let's just say you tried Mercari, let's just say,
right.
and all of a sudden you say, oh my goodness, children's dolls in package sell very, very well and very, very quickly there, what are you going to start listing there? Children's dolls in packages.
Sure.
And a deal comes in with them. Now all of a sudden you're going to be like, I'm going to give this to my Mercari lister. I'm going to give this to my Poshmark lister. I'm going to give this to whatever and get the various things listed. So that was a good point, actually, that I wasn't expecting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Even know. Backed into that one.
I guess the point I was trying to get at was with the volume, the positive about having the volume is you're always going to sell something.
Yeah.
On eBay, what's a bad day for you item-wise?
Oh, like 60.
60.
Yeah.
So on the worst day, you're selling. Leave out their site being down for 2 days or something.
Yeah.
But with regular things going on a bad day, you're selling 60.
Yeah, for eBay. Yeah.
And what's a height of the Christmas time day?
For eBay alone?
Yeah.
Like 150 probably.
So you have a bottom line. You're going to sell 60 items in a day, no matter what, which works out to 2 to 2.5 items an hour.
Yeah.
You're just going to be moving. Why can you do that? Because you've got the volume.
Right.
If somebody's up there and they've got 40 items up, they're not moving 2.5 items an hour.
Yeah.
So that is another big advantage of volume. And in another area where it helps you out a lot, how many items do you have up on eBay at this point? And I want to specifically talk about eBay because it offers things that Amazon doesn't, because it's very hard to differentiate yourself and brand yourself on Amazon.
Right.
eBay, however, you can get people in your store to shop. So how many items do you have up?
Over 160,000.
So you have 160,000 opportunities for me as a shopper to find your item.
Right.
You have 160,000 opportunities for me as a shopper to find your other items by entering your store.
Yes.
So that's 160,000 times that somebody could find your item, walk into your store, and then buy other items. Because, I happen to find a Road and Track magazine, and I go, I don't really need this, but let's see what else this guy has.
Right.
And I go in there, and it's like, oh, wow, he's got
Yeah.
this model. I didn't even know this model existed. I want to buy it.
Right.
So that is yet another advantage of volume. So if you've got the space, if you've got the time, and if you've got the capital, and we're not even talking a lot of capital.
No.
How much money do you think somebody could get started at to really start building up a store?
Well, I mean, I'm going to go with the 20,000, but I think you could do it with 5 or 10,
See, and I think you could probably do it with $1,000 if you really shop around.
Yeah.
Especially if you use those various sites where people give stuff away free, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
You walk into a library sale the last day, half an hour before they're set to close up, and you say to them, what are you going to do with all the books at the back end? How about I give you $100 and I take all of the extra books?
Yeah.
And boom, all of a sudden now you've got a huge inventory to work with. And there will be some good stuff left in there as well at that point.
Sure.
And one of the big advantages of that as well. And one last thing actually, which ties into the other advantage of volume. You've got 160,000 items listed.
Yep.
How many items would you suspect you sell in a year? If you're doing 100 a day, you're talking 36,000. So
Probably,
you have 200,000 items in a year that are listed. Mm-hmm. What do you get out of those 200,000 items? Tremendous knowledge.
True.
Tremendous knowledge, so that you then know, geez, I bought this collection and this magazine title just it dies. It's just not worth touching.
Yeah.
This, wow, I never knew, but we listed 8 different things with Mamie Van Doren on, and all 8 of them sold.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but Mamie Van Doren is hot. I'm
Right.
going to make sure that I buy her stuff in the future. And as time goes on, the volume allows you to do that almost on steroids.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody that's listing 5 items a day, it takes them a
Right,
long
yeah.
time to get that knowledge. You're listing 40, 50, 60, 100, 200 items a day. Boom.
Sure.
You're learning on steroids, essentially. So hopefully that helps you. Volume is definitely the way to go. There are a lot of advantages to it. Really, the only disadvantage I can think of is space. That really is the only disadvantage. And on a smaller level, cost as far as having to get a little bit larger store, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But when you add in the cost of an eBay store versus the cost of a brick and mortar rent, eBay is a great, great, great deal. I don't think anybody can argue with that. So do hit the like button. Do let us know if you're going higher volume as time goes on, because I think that really is the trend, and I think that really is the way to go. And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.